Okay, probably there, just half a minute more, and by the time members have your attention, what I want you to have by the end of the time you're talking for yourself is one time that you feel something really nice happened in your practice, or if you're a student, just something really nice. Don't worry about it. If it's with another person, be careful of that nice thing, because there's sometimes ambivalences that can be there. We feel really good that somebody who wasn't doing well is doing well, but is there a little voice in your head, will it stay? And that don't have that kind of thing. Something where something really nice happened, and I'm sure there's lots of examples of that you've all got. But the thing that you want to work on, have an incident that happened. Maybe it's something where you came out of your practice and you just thought, that didn't go very well. And you want a little bit of insight into one particular thing. So don't have, as I said, the most difficult thing. If you're a student, I'm sure there's things that you want insight into, could be to do with your studying even. So just something that you could learn from. Is that okay? So have one of each. I'll give you another minute and just make sure, having had that discussion, you've got them. Ready to go? Everybody got something? Yes? Okay. You got something over there? Okay, so I'll just explain the exercise. There's something called perceptual positions, just to say something about that. We can be in different positions in relation to other people, and from those different positions we get a different viewpoint. If we're in what's called first perceptual position, we are in ourselves. Second perceptual position is relating to, from ourselves to putting ourselves in another person's shoes, or being with a part of ourselves. Okay, so that's the second position. And then third position is either stepping back, but often kind of looking down on a situation and seeing that whole situation with all its context and yourself in that position. Does that make sense? When something good is going on, do we want to be in first position, merged with it, or do we want to step back from it or look at it? I would say we want to merge with it. Does that make sense? And we don't do enough. We merge very often with our worrying situations. Yeah? I'm worried, I'm angry, I'm this and that, or whatever. But we don't merge and really appreciate the positive situations. And this is, if we did more of this, and in fact, if we did it every day, we would have a far more satisfying practice. So I'm going to go over a really simple exercise that I'm hoping you'll all do, that's going to teach you just how to do that. And the other thing you can do is you have an appreciations journal. Does anybody have an appreciations journal? They're really useful things to have. And you can just write down 3 things that you really enjoyed about the day, and especially about your practice. And doing that, it helps you to feel just really good about certain things. And it puts you in a different position in terms of how you are, in terms of your worries and all the rest of it. So all the good things. So we're going to start with the first exercise now, and I want you to get into a comfortable posture. And get a little bit relaxed. relaxing. And you might want to close your eyes, but you don't have to close your eyes. It's up to you. And you can also feel the support of the chair that you're sitting on. So you feel it under you, and if you're leaning back, feel it on your back, and maybe the support of the floor under your feet, depending on the position of your feet right now. And then just get a sense of your whole body. Become aware of your whole body, as much as you can of your whole body. Just so you're yourself sitting on that chair, feeling comfortable, relaxed, and that you're there centered in your body. And when you're ready, take the enjoyable thing that you chose. It might be an incident, it might be just something you enjoy, but just remember it. And as you remember it, get a sense of the good feeling about it in your body. If you've got any ambivalences, go to either another thing or stay with the good parts of that particular thing. Just get a sense of it as it is in your body. So it's going from your head down to your body. And as you're feeling it, you can allow that good feeling even to expand. Really feel the special feeling about that thing. So you can stay with this special feeling for a little while, but also you might drop in and ask of it, why do I find this so special? So enjoyable, so nice. And with that, just stay with your body. It's not an answer to answer with your head, stay with your body. Something might arise. You might, and it might be fleeting, see a picture or a word or something that just gives you that extra sense of that particular thing. Just enjoy that special feeling for a little while. Even if there's sounds around, just stay with what's inside. I want you to, in your own time, take in and really acknowledge that specialness. Really acknowledge that that's there. And thank it for being there. And when you're ready, and take as long as you like, you can come back into the room. So, anybody want to say anything about what happened in that exercise?
Yesterday, I'm reminded how little I'm putting my awareness there in my 21 80% your awareness from your inner state, your understanding and ability to listen to another is far greater than your forgetfulness of things or the other.
I like it.
So,
Yes.
and thanks for letting us be.
Did most of you feel those good feelings in a way you don't usually take notice of them? That's what I want. Yeah. How long do you think that exercise took? 5 at the most, yes. So there's things we can do. You can do it just before you go to bed. So you can kind of appreciate a few things and then just really feel special feelings before you go to bed. Or you can do it any time in the day. In fact, as many times as possible during the day. Does that make sense? Yeah?
No, I was just going to add, if you do this a lot, it actually only takes a second to recollect.
Thank you.
And it's
Okay.
a really nice thing to do before you treat someone, because then you're starting with a sense of everything is good.
Here is a lady who really enjoys her practice, right? She was the one that put her hand up, saying she enjoyed everything about it. And you do this.
Yes.
Good. Thank you.
I think that's a really good point to do before you go to bed, because I can have a fantastic day and I don't go to bed to think about things I haven't done or anything worrying. I think it's great to do that before you go to bed.
Yeah, yeah. But I before you go to bed, it's a really good time because it's the time you're slowing right down and you can really think of those things, special things. But also, a second before you see your patient, I think that's a great idea
It's just
too.
connecting with the feeling rather than going through the
Absolutely, absolutely.
What was really good for me is that at the time I knew that it was a positive experience, but having sat and thought about it, a few different reasons that I hadn't appreciated at the time came in, which boosted my confidence.
So that really kind of, you saw things you hadn't seen before. It's putting the light of awareness on things that's so important here, which I think is what you're saying. That a lot of the time we don't put awareness on those important things. And for any change to happen, the first thing we've got to do, and the change here is feeling good about things, yeah? The first thing we have to do is be aware of them. Without awareness, we're not going to do anything, right? So this is a way of becoming more aware. Yeah, great, and I'm glad you saw that.
And I think also what was interesting for me is that when you asked to choose an enjoyable situation, I suddenly realised I had quite a few to choose from.
Hey, that's
And I
nice.
had to think, where should I go?
Because actually, I've been doing this because it's such a good thing to do, and I often have that because I didn't think about it before I started doing this more. But there are so many things in a day that are enjoyable things. And I think it's the same for all of us. So great, thanks. Anybody else want to say anything about that? Okay, so.
I feel particularly sad because I was having a lovely thought and I thought, but my left eye last
Oh,
this huge, huge hole. And it just reminded me of
yes, yeah. So that's also there, yes. So in many ways, it's not a bad thing to feel that sadness, is it? But so that will be there at the same time. Are you okay to sit with that? Yeah. And you might even work on that in the next exercise. Okay. So we've gone through that. So what I'd like you to do now is to stand up and shake. We're going on to the next one. Great. Okay. So it's a break state, and we now go on to the next one. So you're ready. So we're going to the area that you are going to work on. I love this quote. I've learned so much from my mistakes. I'm thinking maybe a bit more. So we all make mistakes or things go wrong in certain ways, so there's always lots to work on in this area too. But it's important if you're working on things that are more difficult that we keep ourselves what I call safe. We don't want to be merged with those things, as I was saying. We need to kind of be a little bit separate from whatever's gone on and be able to see it in perspective. And so being in what's called second position or even third position, getting the whole perspective on things, really helps us to see things as they are. So that's the area we're going to now. And it doesn't have to be a difficult area that you choose. In fact, it can just be something that's a tiny bit of a problem, especially the first time you're doing it. And you'll be remembering something that happened to you in your practice. And the way you'll stay separate, we're going to go through 2 stages. So this is the thing that's been worrying you. You're going to stay separate and step back from it and be able to watch yourself in that position. Yep. And then you're going to either float above it or kind of step aside from the whole thing and get a whole perspective of it. So that's the exercise that I'm going to talk you through. You all okay for that? Now, if you start to merge, so you're at this stage and you kind of get a little bit in there, then stop. And that will keep you back. You don't want to merge with your difficulties, right? So this is you learning not to be merging with them and to being able to take a step back from them. So you're going to, if you start to merge, stop for a minute and then step back, and if it's kind of, there you are with that difficulty, then you can kind of put it a bit further away. You can make it a bit smaller. You can even put it in black and white or something like that, so that it's not as difficult for you. Is that okay? Okay. So the main thing is, you don't want to be here. I'll stay here for a moment. Or actually, okay. So just to say, there are 6 key components that are underpinning our change. And we've already said about the fact that we need to become aware of things. If you're totally unaware, you have no insight, you're not going to change them. So putting our awareness on things is hugely important. Secondly, separating ourselves, which is what we're also going to do. Third thing is present moment awareness. So if you've got something that went on, you want to see it happening as if it's happening now. So you're watching it going on, but you're not in it. But it's what went on. And then you're accepting it as it is. And it's much easier to accept things if you step back from them. So that's one of the reasons why it's so important to do that. You also want to take it, either do it in your body or to come back into your body so that it becomes yours. It isn't yours if you're kind of still up here at the end. You want it to be in your bodily awareness. And sometimes things can be quite unclear at the beginning and you have to stay with them for a little bit in order for them to become clearer. Or even there's an impasse sometimes. There's a kind of nothing's happening here, and that's fine, because that sometimes when things are difficult, there's impasse before there's change. And that was something that, if ever you've heard of Gestalt, Fritz Perls often used to talk about as a key component of change. Okay, so are you ready to do the next exercise? Has everybody got something? Okay, so as you did before, get into a comfortable posture. Get relaxed. And feel the support of the chair under you. And feel the support of the chair on your back. And feel maybe the floor underneath your feet, depending on where your feet are. And let yourself become aware of your body as you're sitting on the chair. And now, just for a moment, remember what the incident is that happened. And as you remember it, allow yourself to step back from it, step to one side or step back from it, so you can see yourself in that situation. And so you can see, hear, get a feeling of that whole situation, and you can either say it out loud or to yourself, I see, and put your name, doing whatever you're seeing. So I might say, I see Angie doing whatever I'm doing. So either say it, you can say it out loud, or probably going to say it to yourself. But make sure that you say that, so you can keep yourself separate from that situation. And stay one step removed. If you feel uncomfortable with that, as I said, put it at a greater distance. Make it smaller. Put it in black and white. Whatever helps you with that. Just so that you can be comfortably with it and watch what's going on. If you feel at all merged, stop and change. And you can notice anything you see about it that you didn't see before. And when you're ready, you can slowly move upwards, or you can step back from it, so that you can see the whole area. So you're seeing yourself, anybody else, any context that's there. It might be a certain temperature, it might be a certain kind of room, there might be background information that you are now more aware of as you stepped back. Notice what you see about the whole situation from this position. Don't change anything, just see what you see is there. And again, you might describe this to yourself. So just notice what's there. Something might come up about it. If it comes up from inside you, then it might be very fleeting. It might seem kind of like a whisper, even, of something about it. Whispers are really important if they come from inside. Just hang out there for a while and notice what you're learning while you're in this position. When you're ready, but not until you're ready, you can come back to your body, bringing everything you've learned. So take your time about doing it. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room, bringing whatever you've learned with you. still hanging out, stay hanging out. Just like to know what has come up. Anybody want to say anything? Thanks.
I saw how often when I first asked the patient how they are, I'm still at least 3 feet away from them. Absolutely.
Useful information?
Very, very.
Yes.
It was a big boundaries issue. I'm so wanting to help.
Yes.
That even if I put a boundary, it would be pushed out. There was only being.
So actually, second position and third position are very useful for you.
Consider as pushed up. Stay with one.
So you actually knew what was right. And you, so that's really, I hope that's useful. What I might like you to do is now go back to your partner and just for a little while say about what happened to you in the exercise and what you learned. Okay? So back to your partner just for a few minutes. How are you doing? So let's come back together. And I'm just wondering, you might want to make a few notes, especially afterwards, to remind yourself. But I'd just like to hear if anything, like I was hearing from a few people about things that the change of perspective made a difference to. And I'm just wondering if anybody wants to say anything about that. Sometimes it's hard to. Yes. Can you just speak up?
Sorry.
Find out.
And she said, oh, my hand was twitching, like calling an ambulance, you know, is kind of when she started all off and that, when the GP was all this big escalation. Very, I'm sure I'm about 3 years old, want to be done, you know, I've heard some of this happen. And I the supervisor, so it was all fine. But bringing it back with that exercise and giving myself, being up here and looking down on myself and treating and how it afterwards, it really helped kind of separate myself from it and take a lot of the emotion out of it,
Yes.
my own issues, and
Yes.
just to see it as it was.
Good. And could you use this in the future?
Yeah.
Because that's the
Yeah,
important thing.
kind of,
Yes. And sometimes at the time it's hard to just step away, but once we reflect a little bit, then and it can help us through the situation.
to see things more clear.
Absolutely. Does anybody else want to give any examples of something they've been through that they understood from being in second position or third position? Privacy is really important. So let's talk about that. So just stand for a minute and shake.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a reminder of perceptual positions. First position is how I experience things, and it's a position to show things about anything that's positive and enjoyable. So this session has been about keys to really enjoying your practice. And if we don't go to merging and appreciating what's happened to us, and really do it with kind of with awareness and looking at what happened and seeing it for what it is, we're never going to really appreciate it. So feeling the enjoyment with awareness is very important. Second position, how you think somebody else is or another part of yourself is. So putting yourself in the point of view of another person or the point of view of another part of yourself. And then third position, a perspective on the whole issue. And that third position is often called the observer, the friend, presence, and throughout the therapy world, it is known that you have to separate yourself and be to one side of anything that's going on with yourself. So you can separate yourself by kind of having your arm around something, so you're like a friend, or you can separate yourself and be really separate according to your needs. So there's lots of different, there's a spectrum of how separate you are, but in order to get that point. So what can we learn from all of this? So all of those 7 key areas, or anything else that comes up, hopefully you've got something you can take home with you. I'm finishing a little bit early, but that seems okay. So you can think about, you've looked at what areas you might want to improve, but you can do it with anything that comes up. And you can use each of these, both of these exercises in order to do that. And so not just noticing our difficulties, being conscious and appreciating our positive experiences, and looking at those key components, underlying change, can be really useful to help us to be able to deal with it. So just working in small ways, tiny little ways even, every day. We don't have to have great big sessions. We can work with ourselves in order to make sure that we have a happy practice. And appreciating ourselves is really important, because I think that we miss out on that appreciation. And you've got extra exercises on your handout for working on those specific areas. So, are there any questions? Anything you want to say? Those are the things we might cultivate. And the PowerPoint will be on the DXC website.